Greetings, bloggers, vloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with another edition of this week's vlog. So we've had some events happen this past week. Many things happen. You can follow the TikTok. I'm on TikTok, and that tells you a lot about the day-to-day operations within the autistic mind. But really, what I want to focus on today is some of the things that have been reoccurring, not so much, I wouldn't say reoccurring, as I would say that they are appearing as a thing that I've never really done a vlog on. And I feel that it's a very um, crucial, at least in my part of the world, um, a crucial element in autistics, and that is number two elements of it. It's like kind of the same, but it's kind of different, and that is co-regulation and validation. Um, I have, for the most part, of 30, so I was 33, moved out of my parents' house for the first time. So until I was 33, for the majority, maybe a year here, a year there, have lived within my parents' house. And as such, I felt like they were ruling me, and oftentimes we did co-regulate off of each other. It's a common thing among autistic people, especially if you have a close bond with a family member. Now, granted, I know some family relationships are skewed or strained, but for many of them, there is a close connection because we at many times, as an autistic person, when we become independent, do not know how to properly regulate ourselves. Um, this was the struggle for me for many years, and still can be at times. It's like I constantly have to have that sense of validation, or that sense of feeling, or that sense of venting. It could be over some of the simplest things. Like today, I had to call my mother because I felt that one of our meetings that we go to was not on a calendar, and I felt like I had to tell her that. Like I just had to tell her, or it may come to the point where I need a day off, and I have to feel like I have to get her permission or somebody's permission, as if like I'm somebody who has to follow orders or has to be treated as such of a person in captivity. um, it's just sad, and I know it's an issue, and unfortunately, I'm trying to work on it, and I have came a long way in the past couple of years, but it's still an issue, and it happens a lot. Um, you know, I think a lot of times, I think constantly being told what to do, and being that, and only having opportunities to do things when families are doing them is a barrier, and not defining what as an autistic individual, what you as an autistic individual want or need or just want to do. And likewise, that can fall into place when you do move out on your own. And I see that now, even as we're getting near 23 months in a couple days here of living on my own in this current situation. Um, I think in the last situation, I was not um, in a right mind, so my mind was like a million places all the time. But now that we've been medicated pretty much 10 out of 11 days, I'm sorry, 11 out of 12, correct me. Um, but anyway, regardless, you get it back in that mindset, and you're better, and your mind is better, and now you have this big void of time, and you have to figure out how to schedule it and tactfully work it. And most of the times during the work weeks and the work days are fine. If there's evening and weekend hours that are a struggle, and even as you leave the nest, so to speak, you find a way. You find that you still need, even I, as a 30-something-year-old man, still need to feel the validation of my parents when I need to get something across. It may be something as venting about the mail delivery because you were looking for something, or something wasn't uh, done the way that you knew it had to be done because you've seen it happen so many times by the routine person. And these struggles have been faced, because of the pandemic and of such. Everybody's struggling with it, but I think we haven't figured out the proper way, to realize, oh, that's just part of a life. That's part of somebody's, what they do. But we shouldn't have to feel like we have to share every single detail or just so we can regulate ourselves properly. There are things indeed that I may have never told my parents, and that's okay. But there's things I just wouldn't tell them. But I do have an independent life, but so much of it, it's not like 100%. It's more like an 80-20. And it's really hard um to grasp that reality that if you're my age, you kind of um you kind of see, other people that you may have went to school with, or people that you may know in the community that are around your age. Many of them, not so many here in my community, but many in the community, having families and lives and jobs and careers. And meanwhile, I'm still doing what I'm doing for the past 12 years. And yeah, it's a job for 12 years, but I'm basically doing the same day program that I have been doing since I've been out of high school. And it's hard. It's hard. And sometimes you seek the approval of when you want to take a day off because you are needing that day off for whatever reason that may be. And for this instance, it was you're not getting enough sleep, and I knew I needed more time than what would be offered to me. I just, I had to seek that validation as a way, to do anything. And many times I do seek validation as a way, I have to seek that because always feel like I'm being watched or being worried. And that's part of, what I'm finally out of that long tunnel. I said the other day, I don't know if I said it on TikTok or Instagram or maybe in a future blog post, but it's like I'm finally boring my way out of a tunnel that I've been digging. I've entered and I've dug. I've hit the deep point and I've dug my way out of it for almost 4 years now. Over 4 years. And it's interesting to see the other side, but yet it's like you still feel trapped, and what you can do as a human being and not know what to do, and you worry about life. You do. I mean, I'm just at a point in my life where I feel like I don't know, like I'm at a point where I don't have to worry about what's going to happen next month, what can go wrong, what will go wrong, how can I get myself out of a bad situation. I'm doing well, and I may only be that I have uh, been better with my medicine for the past almost 2 weeks. But we had a mistake. We remedied it. We took care of it. We did what we needed to do. And if we recognize that need without trying to burn ourselves out continuously, and being rigorous and continuing to follow our medication regimen, be more regimented in that department, it will work for me. And I know medicine's not for everybody, but for me, it has been proven for decades to work. And it's what keeps me regulated, frankly. And it's why I'm in this good point in my life. And I hope I stick with it for longer. And maybe it's the rest of my life. I don't know. Maybe until I age more. I don't know. But at least now I know I need it. I accept that I need it. And I didn't want to make us all about medicine, but it is what helps me regulate for a majority of the part where I do not need to constantly co-regulate or constantly seek validation. Maybe at that point, I needed that validation, but I feel like I'm constantly under the watch of somebody, whether it be building managers or you know um, family or supervisors, and of course, everything we do in life outside of our locus of control is going to have some sort of supervisory technique to it, but it's not to the point where we can't feel free to live our own lives as the people we deserve to live. So much of my life has been robbed of those opportunities. And yes, they did happen in the past. And yes, we will live on from what they are, without a doubt. Um, It's taken me a long time to grow up to be the man I want to be. I've learned who I am. I've learned that I can live a independent life. If you asked me this maybe 5, 6 years ago, this wouldn't even been a reality. If you even thought maybe 2 years ago that I'd be in a better place than where I was, 2, 3 years ago, uh, it would have not been a reality. It would have been really, really bad and really, really scary. But all things aside, um, I'm doing well, but I struggle with co-regulation because, it's constantly making sure that you can do what you want to do without having to see that you need somebody to prove you to do something. Like you're being managed by this organization or you're being managed by people or in captivity. And, I know it happens a lot in older generations where they may have had some time, being in an institution. And pretty much for most of my child life, I had some residential time. I had some time where I was under constant watch of someone. Um, I mean, normally it does happen, but when I'm, coming into my adolescent teen years, it's, that element of having lessening freedoms did not occur for me. I did not was not left alone at home until I was 17 years old just because of my condition. And it continued on, and then things, never built the way they were because of my autism. And, there was just issues that compounded to where I constantly had to be overthinking and constantly had to be worrying about something or getting in trouble or, or something because that's just how those that were, my parents were very like that. And sometimes I would, do things because I would think, well, I would need to 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 be emotionally mannered, and that was a hard thing to accept. Such as eating food. I would constantly eat food because I felt that was what gave me and released endorphins and made me feel good. Um, that made me feel good in that moment. Now, in the moments when I would get chastised for eating food that was intended for other purposes, that would be a problem. And, I would feel my sense of remorse. But now that I live in my own element, um, it's a really different situation where I'm not constantly eating everything all the time. It's a different sort of feeling. It's like you don't have to worry about sneaking it in before somebody sees you. It's there and you know it's there. Over the years, I've gotten better with my soda consumption. More recently, I don't really crave it in the manner that I once did. I can let a drink sit and it could take me several hours to drink it compared to, when I would just guzzle it because I was fearful of being caught or not getting it. It was like a sense of hoarding it because if I felt like I was like getting a drink, getting something that I enjoyed, like a soda pop, which I still do, but enjoying that feeling and that sense that it gives you is just like an addiction in a sense, but it was like I had to do everything I could to make sure I could get it, and now that's not so much of a problem. I could go half a day without wanting it. I can now have gone down to 2 times, 3 times, but that's more about addiction in a sense, but it's more about, being able to regulate yourself properly and not have to seek, um, you know, those means to regulate yourself or to fill the emotional void, if you will, where it could have an issue. So those are just some things of what, I experience as far as regulation, co-regulation, and seeking validation. But I'm learning that, having things, that I don't have to worry about where they come from or where I used to have to worry about when I was getting my soda and would there be enough in the morning. It was a really bad problem. And I'm starting to lose some weight again. and it's hopefully going to work out for the better. But that's, you know, that's about a regulation. So with that being said, I think I hope to have a better winter, and I hope to have a better year. And as we move into the third year, this closing on the second year of living on my own here, I hope to move into the third year in a better frame and a better mindset, taking care of myself. I've got the TikTok going again, and I encourage any of you that has TikTok to follow me. I'm just now hitting around 1,000 followers. I should be hitting 1,000 followers within a couple of days. If the cards work great, I'm right at 9.99 the last time I checked about an hour ago. And if you don't like TikTok, but you'd like to see what I post there, I mirror all that content over to a YouTube channel. It's called Dustin's Dynasty TikToks on YouTube. Just look it up, and it is there, and you can find it, and it will definitely. There's a lot of more content I do there. I do morning minutes, and where I play a song and write my thoughts in the morning. And I also do a closure with fifth medication regimen in a month called Operation New Leaf. So if you haven't followed me on TikTok, you should. And if you do have TikTok, I encourage you to. If not, you can follow that YouTube channel. It's called Dustin's Dynasty TikToks. With that being said, I want to thank you for listening today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel, Dustin's Dynasty. And if you haven't already, tap a notification bell so you hear when I release a new video every week, typically on Friday or Saturday. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like it. Also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Dustin's Dynasty, on the web at DustinsDynastyUSA.com, and on TikTok and Pinterest at Dustin's Dynasty ASD. I am on many streaming platforms. We just added Amazon Music, so there's like 6 platforms. They're all sent by the Spotify, the Anchor platform. And if you're watching on Spotify, this vlog will be transcoded into a podcast for you, so you can watch on Spotify. I want to thank you again for listening, and be sure to have a good day, everyone. Have an awesome weekend, and take care, and bye for now.